so glad you tuned in today to watch E.H.A.U.S. This is the first part of the segment that I mentioned in the intro. I will be interviewing Gene Brown Jr. and Antwand Brown, the two young men that I spoke about that served 16 to 18 years in prison. It was an honor, truly an honor, to speak with these young men. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that the Brown brothers allowed me into their home and share their story with me and allowed me to share it with you guys. So I'm just gonna dig right in and just get to it. And I'll see you after the interview. E.H.A.U.S.
Nights are cold, days are long. We're moving fast and going far. My eyes are dry, I won't cry no more. No looking back, 'cause we out to storm.
Everybody has an untold story. Isn't that nice? Unique, unbelievable, unthinkable, unusual. First of all, I want to say I thank y'all so much for just coming down here and allowing me to share the story and y'all to give the story and for us to share it, okay? I love both of y'all and I respect y'all wanting to do this because I feel like that everybody has a story, and if you share your story, it heals you and it also heals someone else. It heals the person that's listening to it. And I really think in my heart that y'all didn't go through what y'all went through for nothing. And God has allowed y'all to come back together and looking good and looking healthy, and you gotta be able to tell your story so y'all can help heal other people, help other people. He breaks us to make us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm just gonna start out with, first we just gonna step back a little bit. We just step back. I just wanna know about y'all childhood, but I didn't wanna hear it from both of y'all because you can live in the same house but have a different story, a different perspective. So I just want y'all to kind of tell a little bit about childhood, and then we'll move on up. Who wanna go first?
I'm gonna let him go first. See the old.
All right, Gina, tell a little bit about your childhood and just.
Okay, well, Mom, I grew up in the house with Mom and Dad, and most of the time I had everything I wanted. Not just what I needed. I always had what I needed, but most of the time I got what I wanted. I can remember at Christmas time getting a dirt bike for Christmas and going to school and telling the kids, you know, that I got a dirt bike for Christmas, and some of them were looking at me like amazement that you were able to get a dirt bike, but to me it was just normal because, you know, whenever I wanted something for Christmas, I usually got it. So I was well taken care of, and I grew up in a good home. My mom and dad taught me right from wrong, good and bad, and it was good. It was when my mom and dad split up. I was around, I think I was a young teenager, maybe 13.
No, 13.
And but up before that time, in school, from I think it was the 4th grade, I got skipped because we were taking tests. And I scored so high on the test that they said I shouldn't be in that grade, I should be in another grade. So they skipped me. My mother didn't like the teacher at the school for me to be in her class. So she said, I want you to go to Alma. So I went to Alma school. So in the 6th grade, I got a B on my report card and I was scared to go home. I actually, on the bus, tried to change it into an A because up until that time, I had never made anything but A's. So I didn't know. And then when I got home, they saw that I tried to change it and they said, no, it's all right if you make B. I didn't know because I had never made one. So with my mom and dad, and before then, I played baseball. And I was really good at it. I remember I was 15 years old, and my coaches told me at 15 that they truly believed that if I would keep my head screwed on right, I could make pro ball. But it went in one ear and straight out the other. I didn't even think twice about it. But when my mom and dad split up, I chose to stay with my dad simply because I knew if I stayed with him, I would have more leeway and I could get my way and do more things, have less supervision. So I chose to stay with him. But that wasn't a good choice, but I didn't know that because all I'm thinking about is I'm gonna have more freedom. You know, my dad was gone all the time and he was working, and just certain things that he didn't know or didn't understand. And that was probably I know, not probably, that was definitely not a good choice for me to do that, because after they split up, not blaming it on anybody, but just saying my choices and why I made them. But after that happened, I stopped doing good in school. I didn't care about my schoolwork anymore. I started smoking marijuana. I started hanging out. We started drinking alcohol. I was hanging with guys older than me. Because when I turned 16, once again, when I turned 16, my dad bought me a brand new car. So I was 16 years old driving to school with a brand new car. And I had all the friends in the world, and you know, I was doing all the wrong things because they were influencing me to smoke marijuana, and I didn't care anymore about my future. You know, I never at that age gave a second thought about my future, about what was going to happen further on in life. It was just in that moment and what I was doing, and I didn't care. I didn't go to school. I missed 48 days. I had to get doctor's notes one year, and then the next year I missed like 46 days. I would never do homework. It's just amazing that I still passed, graduated, but I just didn't care anymore after that point.
Things just changed after that.
Things changed drastically after that. And it wasn't that I was so hurt because they weren't together anymore. It was that I saw a way that, okay, I don't have to follow these rules anymore, and I can just do what I want to do. And at that age, you know, you think that, well, I know what's best for me. I didn't have a clue, but that's when I started going.
So yours was like, and that was, you said that was around at age like 13 up to 16.
That was around about 13, I think, when they split up. Yeah, 13.
Okay. Okay, Antwand. So tell me a little bit about yours when your childhood and all.
When I remember is when I was maybe 8 is when my parents got divorced. So I can remember my mother taking me and my little sister, because my little sister had just been born. My dad went to work, and she was crying, and she was like, she had to leave, and my brother wouldn't go. And she was like, he won't go. So we got in the car and we left, and then we started living with my grandmother. So from then we had to live, we stayed in, when we moved in a little house, and the mattresses smelled like pee real bad, so she had to wash all of them. And she did everything she could with the house and stuff. And then we ended up in the projects for a little while, and then I remember a few years she was able to buy a house. She built the house. So then, you know, me and my little sister, we moved into the house, and from there she did everything she could. You know, she did everything she could. She got me everything that she could possibly get me, so I was satisfied with new bicycles and things like that. My dad had brought me a dirt bike, so whenever I would come stay with him, I would get to ride a dirt bike. That's basically it. You know.
So when did you see yourself, because Ginger, when did you see yourself kind of like going down the wrong path, or you a little bit? Yours was further down,
mine was,
maybe?
What happened with me was, I never drank or smoked anything until I got to college.
Okay.
So when I got to college, I got exposed to all these different people from all these different places, and ended up meeting a guy from New York. And from then, what happened? I'm sitting here at college looking at all these dudes come through here with all these nice cars, and the women going to these guys with these nice cars, and I'm just like, man, you know, it was just attractive to me. So I ended up dealing with this guy, and once I started dealing with him, I would introduce him to people who were spending a couple of $1,000s with him, and from there, I just basically forgot that I had even went to college. I graduated with a criminal justice degree, and I never even walked. Just didn't walk because my mind had went in the street. I had totally forgot about all the sacrifices that had been made for me to go to college. So then that's when I just went in a totally different direction.
Yep. And something ironic is that when he was in college, he came home one time and was had some little drugs he was trying to sell to make some extra money. And I said, man, don't do that. If you do that, and I said, you doing something good. You going to college. I said, that would kill mama if you didn't make it or something happened to you. I said, let me do that. I'll do that for you so you don't have to do it. So I started doing that. Every time he would come home, I would do whatever we had. I learned about it a little bit, and when he come home, Whatever I did, I split the money with him because I wanted him to do. He was doing something that I didn't do,
So
and
you
I
was
saw him
looking out
doing
for
good.
him.
So I was looking out for him. So that's how it started. But after I started doing it, then I realized that shoot, I could make a little bit of money doing this, and and the more you did it, the more money that you could make. But not ever thinking about the effect of what I was doing, what it would have on other people. People that I couldn't see, people that I didn't know or ever came in contact with. That came later on when I had time to reflect and think about all that was going on. But that's how it actually started. But then after I started, I said, shoot, I might as well just keep on doing this because it seems like it's pretty good because I could make money.
And so y'all did this for, you think, for how long? How long you think?
I probably,
Just kind of estimate.
what year was that? I did it off and on
Okay.
because I would work for a while and then I would do that for a little while, then I'd go back. I always would work, but then sometimes, and then I thought I was slick at the end. I was working all the time and doing it, trying to do, you know. And you know what? The thing is that I had met people that I was doing brickwork and I was doing foundations, and a guy introduced me to somebody. He said, I'm gonna show you how to read the blueprint. So I learned how to read the blueprint so I could go to the job with the blueprint and do the foundation. So then the guy that I was doing the foundations for called me and said, I built another house over here somewhere. Would you come do this one? So I went over there and did that one. But I wouldn't call him back most of the time because he wanted to give me work and it was interfering with the other things I was doing. And I couldn't do them both. And this one paid so much better and the work was not nearly as hard. So I said, well, I'm going to lean towards this one. And that's what I did. And I messed up a golden opportunity way back then. And that was then had to be because we went to prison in 2002. So that was probably in 96.
Oh, okay.
96 or 97.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere along in there. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, about 96. It was around 96.
And see, Antwand, I remember, because I remember seeing you with, like you had, and these are my cousins, by the way, y'all. Love them to death. These are my cousins also. So I know a little bit of the story of them, just a little bit, but I don't know the extent of it. But I used to see you, and you had like the baddest cars. I was like, oh, you got the baddest cars, everything. So when you got in it with this guy and you were buying the cars and stuff, do you think it was something that you was kind of searching for? You just kind of liked the attention. What do you think that was?
I think, like when my mom and my father divorced, it was like I might have some friends where their parents were together and they were able to buy them all this stuff. And she really couldn't do it. So once I got older, and a lot of times I pretend like I didn't want it anyway, just to make her feel better.
Right.
So when I got older, then, and I started making the money where I could go to a car lot and get this man almost $100,000 for a car and keep moving. Then it became like it was like now I get to live my childhood. Everything that I wanted was this. Now I can get it with the cars. I can get it with the trucks. I can get it with whatever I choose to get it with.
Right.
So yeah, but
and you just got more and more. And,
yeah, you just got more and more. Yeah, you don't. All you see is the money. You don't think about how far you've gone, how much you lose yourself when you do it. You just keep moving. It was one time when the dudes that set me up, and dudes shot me in the chest and shot me in the back, and for a robbery attempt. And then you would think that they'll maybe be like, all right, you need to kind of fall back. But then it just got worse. I started buying more expensive cars and more expensive jewelry, just doing crazy stuff. It's like you lose yourself.
But one thing I have to is that when he got shot that time when they tried to rob him, when I got to the hospital, we went to the hospital and the doctor came out telling about his condition and what was going on. And the doctor said, I am not religious. That's how he started. He said, I'm not religious. He said, but the bullet that went in, it went around every vital organ as if a finger guided it around and through. And before he told me that, he said, I'm not religious. So
Oh my
I
God.
knew
You knew.
at that
Yeah.
moment that
Mhm.
that was the hand of God that did
Yeah.
that. Absolutely. And that was
Yeah.
way back before
Mhm.
we even thought about doing the right thing.
Yeah. So see, God is all in this. Is all in the story.
Yeah,
You know,
he has been
He
the whole
allowed.
time.
He allowed these things to happen, and He's so merciful. And He allowed these things to happen. He's still taking care of both of you.
And because I can remember when I got shot, and this is when I know the Lord like this child is really sad. Cause I was praying, and I said, Lord, please don't let me die. I promise you, if you don't let me die, I won't smoke no more marijuana. I wouldn't say I wasn't selling no more drugs.
Yeah, you just don't not smoking.
Yeah, that's just all I said.
Yeah.
I would not say I'm not selling no more drugs because I knew that I was gonna sell more drugs. And I'm getting ready, and I feel like I'm dying. My lungs are collapsing and everything, but I still would not say that I won't sell no more drugs.
And it seems like you think it was kind of like an addiction almost.
Yeah, it is. And see, the whole point is they keep having programs for the people who use the drug, but it's an addiction to the people who sell these drugs.
That's right. I never
Because
thought about it.
it's a serious addiction when you can get up in the morning and somebody can say to you, "Hey man, that's a nice car right there on TV they driving." And you be like, well, like one time, dude, the guy was showing me, it was a video with the Hot Boys, and they had a Viper turning around in the road, and dude was like, "Man, that's a nice car." So I said, "Man, I'm gonna buy one of them cars." He said, "You gonna buy one?" I said, "We're going in the morning to get one." And that day I went to Cary Auto Park in Cary, North Carolina, and paid cash for it.
Wow.
Yeah, I walked out with the title. So that the addiction is far worse.
Mm-hmm.
When you young, you in your 20s, and you can just spend
Just
money
get
like
whatever
that.
you want to get.
Yeah.
And not just that, but the people that know you and see that you're able to do things, they treat you like a celebrity. And they really do. And it's like, it's crazy, but that's how they do. Even now, since we've been back, I was doing a brick job, since I've been home. And the guy didn't know me. So evidently, he had talked to somebody and he found out who I was. And at first, he had like a snobby attitude or whatever. He was renting a house, and I know his uncle and his uncle's sister's house. And she talked to me about doing so. I went over and I was doing the house. And he was around, and he would say a few things, but he didn't talk much, didn't really have a good attitude. But he talked to somebody a day or two later and found out who I was. And when he found out what I had done, his whole attitude toward me changed, and the way he started talking to me, I could not believe it. And it was all because he found out that I had went to prison and I used to sell drugs, and he told him that I had this and that and I was doing whatever. Then he acted like I was somebody important. I was like, wow. This is how they see. That is just so wrong.
Wow.
Yep. And I had never forgotten that.
And then you realize, because when you're doing it, you never think about, okay, you want to hide so many things. Because we had businesses, dump trucks, we had a club, we were leasing the club, we built a studio, we had a record label where we had mixed and mastered 2 albums, we had an entertainment lawyer out in Atlanta. So, but you not realizing when you buying these cars and you doing this stuff, you say, I'm going to put this car in my cousin's name, because it's paid for, she ain't got no problem. Put this car in my aunt's name, it's paid for, you got no problem. Put this car in this person's name, it's paid for, you got no problem. Then at the end of the day, whenever the feds come get you, you realize how many people you put in a place that they should never be in. So when they superseded my money laundering indictment, which was really ridiculous to me, because every car dealer said that I brought the cars, I brought the money, then they started locking up people in your family. So a lot of times people think, I'm gonna put this house in this person's name, I'm gonna put this in that person's name. When the feds decide to come get you, and they really want to make a statement with you, every person who you got the vehicles, the houses in their name, the land, they lock them up.
Wow, thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to go over a couple of highlights. The words that stuck out to me was choices and losing yourself. Sometimes the choices that we make may seem insignificant at first because the consequences are not immediate. And you go, well, why aren't the consequences immediate? Because God allows us time to turn to Him. are turned back to him. And that's what I love about God, because he is always in the midst of the story. So I want you guys to look out for the second segment. It is going to take us to a place where God allows us to go into that deep, dark place so that he can teach us and bring us closer to him. So just check it out. I'm excited about this. See you later. E.H.A.U.S. Bye-bye.